Please bring your sharing. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you for giving me opportunity for presenting in this occasion. So myself, Dr.S.M. Firdous. My topic is molecular mechanism of gastric cancer. So you can move to next slide. Well, this is institutions where I work in Calcutta Institute of Pharmaceutical Technology, that is in India, and these institutions having pharmacology department, and this pharmacology research laboratory consisting of several apparatus and the research facilities, including animal house, and we have several collaborations with the national and the international laboratories. Next. Well, this is my brief profile. You can see, as I am working as a head of this institution of the department, and these are the certain research areas where I generally work in neuroscience, as well as the digestive pharmacology, as well as the toxicology. And recently from our laboratory, we got one South African patent on neurotoxicity study. Next. As I said about our laboratory, so these are the certain glimpses of our laboratory. You can see on the left side the laboratory visions, and the right side whatever the equipment or the instrumentations for the neuropharmacology and the other studies we have. In addition, you can see the collaborations we have with the institutions, international like institutions in Malaysia with Dr.Subash Gopinath, that is situated in the University of Malaysia Perlis, and also we have completed the projects in collaborations with Dr. Subash Gopinath on the human memory tumor virus DNA biomarker analysis, that is by preparing a biochip. In addition, we also work on the marine pharmacology, that is in collaborations with the Manomariam Sundaram University, that is in the southern part of the India, and we have also completed the project by sending our students over there, and they are done in collaborations. Next. So coming to the point, so the mechanism of gastric cancer, here you can see this is the first slide where it is being mentioned about the introductions. So generally you can see over here, this is the gastric mucosa linings over here are showing, and the normals and the artifacts with the cancers or with the gastric glands cancers is showing over here. Now these gastric cancers generally, or the gastric adenocarcinoma, generally occurs mainly in the male, it has been reported. Apart from that, females are also been suffering. The biggest problem with this gastric adenocarcinoma or the gastric cancer is the asymptomatic. It is not very symptomatic sometimes, and the symptoms, if it is occur, the mainly the abdominal pain, nausea, frequently indigestion. So these are the certain problems are associated with. Move to the next slide. Okay, so one of the associated factors with this gastric carcinoma is the Helicobacter pylori. So Helicobacter pylori is the risk factor because this Helicobacter pylori has been seen for the promotion of the inflammations due to the certain toxin release, and that inflammations, gastritis, further if it is not treated, it leads to the formations of the gastric cancer. So the Cancer Genome Atlas has classified this gastric cancer in the 4 different molecular subtypes: Epstein-Barr virus positive, microsatellite instable, genomically stable cancer, and the chromosomal unstable cancer. So among these, the higher percentage is the chromosomal unstable type of cancer in the gastric glands. So apart from that, they are saying that immunoresponse as well as the inflammatory response due to the immunity or the immuno artifacts generally leading to the certain consequences in the gastric cancer. We can move to the next slide. As I said, the sign and symptoms. So in the left side, the sign and symptoms are being shown, and in the right side, they have described the similar things over there. So they are saying that most of the countries are being divided into two types. One is the high risk countries, and another one is the low risk countries. So the high risk countries, generally the Southeast Asian, are the high risk countries, where you can see the China is there, as well as the Japan is there, and in the low risk countries, the North America, New Zealand, and Australia, North and East Africa. So there you can see there is a less number of the patients of the gastric cancer. Maybe the reason is the polymorphic, certain changes of the gene or the genetic polymorphisms is involved over here. Next slide. Okay, this gastric cancer again can be divided into few types. One is the sporadic type. The sporadic type, where the sequential mucosal changes you can observe, and this sporadic type is generally the highest one. The 80% of the patients you can see they are suffering from the sporadic, whereas the 10% is the early onset gastric cancer. So this is a very rare one, as well as the gastric stomach cancer is also very rare one. And hereditary cancers, they are saying that hereditary diffuse gastric cancer is also not that much in compare with the other types. And this hereditary diffuse cancer is due to the genetic mutations in the germline mutations in the gene encoding a certain addition molecule called E-cadherin. Next. So these are the epidemiological slides. So in the epidemiological slides, is saying that about 1 in 12 of all oncological deaths are attributed due to the gastric cancer. And gastric cancer has the 5th highest incidence among the cancers, with 5.7% of all new cases attributed to the disease. So from here we can say that this gastric cancer is the one of the major cancer by which the patients are dying. So here you can see that H. pylori or the Helicobacter pylori is the one of the major reason for that. Okay, you can next slide. In the next slide, you can see there is a data has been given that per 1 lakh, what is the mortality rate. So generally, in 1.1 million new cases and about 7.7 lakhs of death of gastric cancer was estimated in 2020. Whereas the incidence were average of 2-fold higher in case of the male than the females. So as I said in the beginning, there is a male generally having more chance or more number of male patients are there when compared to the female patients of gastric cancer. So they are saying that in the eastern region of the Asia, both male and females are suffering respectively. That is 32.5 and that's 13.2 respectively. Males residing in the Japan, they have given certain data, Mongolia and the Korea. So like that, this is the epidemiological studies has been shown. Move to the next slide.